Hello, everybody. Brie Sodano here, coming to you live. Today, what we are going to be talking about is strength blindness, otherwise known as imposter syndrome. Um, so, for those of you who are just meeting me, who are new, my name is Brie Sodano. I'm a personal finance expert, the founder of From Sheep to Shark. I invented the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. And I have a mastermind called Limitless Wealth, where we work on like full life creation. And we just launched a membership called Cash Confident, which I will talk about a little bit at the end. All right, so here's what I want to talk about today. Sometimes we are in a situation where we don't see the things that other people see in us, right? So I just did a retreat for my Limitless Wealth clients in Sedona, and an entire day, which was actually a surprise to me because I had other content planned, but it took an entire day to go through strength blindness with my ladies who are incredibly successful, incredibly smart, and incredibly like badass. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so I see that we have a good number of people on live. So if you're hopping on live, I would love if you would say hello to me in the comments so that way I can see a little face bubble. If this is your first time, let me know that this is your first time ever catching me live, so that way I could just welcome you. And if you're catching the replay, go ahead and hashtag Cash Confident. I forgot to say all that before. All right, so strength blindness. All right, so if you've ever heard this is what it looks like. This is like the interaction. So you may be on the giving or the receiving end of this conversation, but somebody says something like, wow, you're really incredible at X thing, organizing, selling, whatever. And you're like, oh, it's easy. It's easy. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do this thing that I do. Anybody could do it because it's easy. Mm. That's generally what strength blindness looks like. And sometimes the way that I look at it, strength blindness and imposter syndrome are basically the same thing. Because when you feel like the thing that you do is easy, when you feel like the thing that you do well is, something anybody could do with any level of skill, when you don't see like when you don't see it can really make you feel like a faker in your own life. It can really, I mean, that's generally like, it can feel like I live in a house of cards because I do this thing that's so easy for me. I'll tell you a quick story. So the Invisible System, my like signature course, um, I almost didn't make, and it was a mentor of mine. Her name is Julie Stoyan. Who one day I was talking to her and I was wriggling in it, and I was like, I don't know, I think anybody could do it. It's just addition and subtraction and that. And she was like, what? No, not everybody knows this, Brie. Like, not everybody can do it. It's easy for you, and that doesn't mean it's easy for me. And I was like, oh, all right. And she called me out. She's like, you're having a little strength blindness there. You're not seeing what everybody else sees. It's easy for you because you're good at this. It's easy for you because you've practiced it thousands of times over a number of years. It's easy for you. The rest of us could use some help with this. And I was like, oh, well, all right. And then I made the course. But that's basically like, if I hadn't lovingly and gently been called out on that, that's the situation. Like, I might not have made that course because I just thought like, well, of course, you know everything about money that I know about money. Like, of course, because it's easy. Right. So that's strength blindness. So the way that you would the way like to notice strength blindness, and you as I would really suggest starting to notice where other people think what they do is easy or accessible, so that way you can just start to understand what it looks like. And it's not about judgment, and it does not help to call people out on things that they didn't ask for help with. But if you just start to observe, you can start to see what strength blindness looks like in other people. Because to you, The tricky thing about strength blindness is almost always it's going to have to be pointed out to you because you're blind to it. You're blind to it. And so it's not the easiest thing to identify for yourself. So if you start to identify where other people are starting to have strength blindness, you'll start to see your own a little bit different because you're taking the blinders off, and you'll find that it's always easier to see things in other people before you see it in yourself. And again, it's not about judging, it's not about calling people out, it's not about, you know, engaging in conversation about this unless it was something that they asked for, but it's just about you starting to be the observer of other people's strengths, other people's talents, other people's ability to see or not see that, right? Because as you start to pay attention to other people's strengths, what it does, like for you in your own brain, is you can start to look at your own strengths differently. So once you start to see what strength, like I would just observe, just to start to observe. And then the other thing you want to really do is you want to take inventory on what are my strengths? What are the things I'm really good at? Where do I show up my best? What are my natural talents? Where are things easy for me? They don't require much effort. That's just a general like place where that you're talented. If what you're doing is successful and it doesn't take as much work as it takes somebody else, there's a talent there. So you want to start to notice your strengths and your talents and really lean into those. Really start to mention them. Uh, really start to, you know, like if the way to flip it, if you're undercharging or if you're being underpaid at work, is to start to see the value of what you bring to the table instead of how easy it was for you to bring to the table, right? So, for example, I'm a great cook. So, if I show up to your house with this amazing dish, it's an amazing dish. It's not less amazing because it was easy for me to make. You see the difference? Like, I brought something delicious and fantastic. Well, you're not gonna enjoy it any less because it was easy for me. If it was hard, it wouldn't be worth more to you, right? As the dish on the table. And so those are the things you want to start to pay attention to in like that workspace. Like uh I'll give you another story of my own stuff. So for a while I did a lot of student loan work, and I was way undercharging for it because once I learned all the things, it was easy for it's not easy, it was quick, right? The jobs were quick. I could take care of a problem because I knew exactly what to do, right? Because I'd spent hundreds and hundreds of hours studying. But I when I was doing that kind of work, I was like, well, it's easy and anybody could do it, which was neither were true. And I was undercharging for it because I could do it so quick, right? So I was like, it only takes me a couple of minutes. Okay. Um, and I wasn't charging for the fullest value that I was bringing to the people who were hiring me. Right? And so that's the way that you start to flip it, is you start to look at the value of what you bring instead of the easiness or the difficulty for which it was for you to bring. And you'll find that once you start to kind of embrace those strengths, there's so much more like momentum in your work when you're working in your strengths and you're working in your talents. You show up as your best, and you find that your work is easier, there's a lot less friction, and that you can get a lot more done. You can be much more productive when you're working in those strengths. One of the biggest lies that we have, like, I don't know why it's even out there, is that you should be overcoming your weaknesses. Like, no, you should not. You should be working in your strengths. Overcoming your weaknesses is a tremendous waste of energy. Like, you want to be putting your effort where you have talent already, because then you maximize that. You have a multiplier effect. So working, practicing really hard on something you have no talent for, unless you really love doing it. I mean, if you're learning piano and you have never had a piano, lesson or whatever, and you love it, well, then rock on with yourself. Like, it's not like a rule, but when it comes to making more money, when it comes to being a woman with resources, when it comes to like charging full price, getting raises, you want to be working in your strengths and in your talents, and you want to be the person who makes it look easy. Like, when you make it look easy, uh it's more fun, right? Like, imagine you go, I don't know. to get your oil changed. And the person's changing your oil, and it's like the easiest thing ever. And they're talking to you and they're chit chat. They're having a great time while they're changing your oil. You want to go back. Imagine you go get your oil changed, and the person is telling you how many steps it is, and how hard it is, and how hard they had to, they're giving it their fullest attention. They can't take their eyes off of it. They're so focused, right? All right. Right? But it's more fun to work with the person who makes it look easy. There's more attraction there. So it's easier to get clients when you make it look easy. It's easier to get like, you know, to go into your boss's office and be like, here's the things, like, I'm super good. This is the stuff I'm really good at. I make this look easy. Pay me more. All right. So just to like recap. So on identifying strength blindness for you, you want to start to pay attention. What are your strengths? What are your talents? You may need to reach out to people if you're having a lot of blindness there. You may need to call people and be like, hey, you have to give them permission to speak freely, but what do you see as my strengths? What do you see as my talents? It's kind of an awkward conversation, but if you're really stuck in there, it's totally worth tolerating those sensations of awkwardness to start to get those answers. Also, you want to start to observe other people's strengths and talents and start to observe if you notice any strength blindness in other people. Again, it's not about judging them and it's not about coaching them. It's just about you learning to see what does that look like? Wow, is that a little strength blindness? Interesting how that showed up for them. And then you can start to see how it shows up for you. So when you start noticing it in other people, you can start to notice it in yourself. That's the way that's this particular thing, because we're blind to it, is easier, sometimes is easier to see when you're looking outward than when you're looking inward. Then you want to, overcoming it, you want to start to really lean into those strengths. And so for some of us, that may feel like bragging. It may feel like being conceited. It may feel like being too much. There's some social and cultural conditioning for women around really being in our strengths and really really showing up fully, where sometimes those things that we praise and we really love when men do, sometimes when you're a woman, can feel like too much, and it can feel actually a little bit like not belonging, a little like kind of shame or embarrassment response, right? So just being with yourself as you notice that, like, wow, I noticed that, like, if I say I'm really good at this, I feel embarrassed. It's an unpleasant sensation. Or what is the sensation in my body when I say how good I am at this? And you want to start to pay attention to that, because if you're having really strong responses, there may be a little bit of like mindset or emotional intelligence work to do around letting yourself feel safe in your strengths, around letting yourself feel seen, around letting yourself, have those, having some of those experiences. So that way, because like this is identifying your strengths and really leaning into them and really like burning your brightest, is one of the things that really, really helps to make way more money. Right? Like when I'm working with clients and they're coming to see me and they're in my Limitless Wealth program because they want to double or triple their income, like the first things I'm looking for are like, where are you your best? That's like literally, like, as a coach, that's what I'm looking for. What are the strengths that aren't being utilized? Or where are you, where are your strengths bound a little bit? Where are you playing small? Like, those are the things I'm looking for, because as you start to lean into those and let your strengths and your talents expand, the ability to make money fucking skyrockets. So, I hope that was useful for you. So if you wanted to work with me further, if you like this little bit, we have two ways to really work together. So we have a Cash Confident community membership. Now I will throw the link to that in the chat right now. And what Cash Confident is we've taken our high ticket programs and we've reduced the prices on them to like the level where they're much more accessible. So in the Cash Confident community membership, there's a website and an app, and you have access to quite a bit of content. We do every month, two live coaching sessions. So you'll get my like eyes and ears and attention on, we do one on money mindset and emotional intelligence, and we do the other one on like coursework and practical things. Um, so it's beautiful for anybody who's looking to grow their wealth. There's resources, I break it down into 7 levels of wealth, and there's resources at all the levels. And there's new content that comes out every single month. It's super cool. Let me see if I'm logged into the app. I will show you. Um, and so the price is like $99 a month, or you can get a discount if you pay the whole year in full. Um, which is a tremendous like deal. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna try to do this away. But this is the app. Oh goodness. All right. Let's see. I'm doing this backwards. So you can see like, all of the let me just turn this around. All right. So like all of the courses that you get access to while you're in the membership are there. So it's just loading. Um, All right, it'll just take a moment. And then we do the live coaching sessions. And then I don't know if you guys, all right, let's see. Somehow I'm under pressure and so my thing isn't loading. All right, well, let's see. Um, let's see what else I could show you. I don't know, it's just super cool. So you can see, oh, all right, it's that I'm not connected to my Wi-Fi. Weird. All right. Well, then I'm gonna just stop messing with this because I need to play with my phone for a minute, which is odd. But um, so that's the way that the membership works. So there's access to courses, access to new content. You get special stuff that you don't get to, you don't get anyplace else. You get access to live coaching twice a month, and the whole thing is designed to really be like personal development with a focus on money, right? Like that's my mission, is to help people be well resourced, help women be wealthy, create the life that they desire. And so everything's in context, and it's beautiful and it's easy to use, and we love you and take care of you when you're in there. So if that sounds good to you, you can check the link out. And then the other thing that I have to offer is that we have a year-long mastermind called Limitless Wealth. Limitless Wealth is it's like it's a high level of service. It's really made for people who are already fairly successful and they're looking to like double their income, and they're looking to get a raise, or they may sometimes even have their money stuff kind of all right, but they feel like money entraps them or enslaves them, or like that they can't get out of their own way in regards to money. And so Limitless Wealth is just such a joy to do in my life. Like I just love doing it. So right now we have a small group of women. That program never gets very big. We keep it intimate because that's the way I like to do it. We do weekly group calls. There's some one-on-one sessions. We do a beautiful retreat once a year. And it's really a program to learn how to have like limitless wealth. And when I say wealth, I mean like well-being in all aspects of your life. So we do a lot of work on like manifestation and energetics and mindset and emotional intelligence. And it's really about becoming your most fully expressed, most powerful self. And then everybody in Limitless Wealth is working towards um, like different results and outcomes. So when we start working together, we usually just put together a plan of like what your results are, what you are hoping to like achieve in the external world. And then that's it. So if that sounds like something that you would love to do, I would say just shoot me a message. I don't have a link for that up right this second. Let's see. All right. And so that's it. That's my talk for you today. I love you and appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye.